this meeting last week?
I think so.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So if you want, while we're waiting for others, looks like nobody really did like the quote homework. Not a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
But if you want to go ahead and kind of get started on that while we're waiting for people, I think that should be fine. Maybe at least just sorting and grouping things. Oh yeah, you were here because I remember you wrote some really good sentences last week. Yeah.
I did forget to do the homework. You're right.
Absolutely.
Wait, what do we have to do again? I'm sorry.
How dare you not work for free and stuff?
All right, we have to group who we serve and what those we serve achieve, right?
Yeah. So just grouping like things into categories if they start emerging. And then from there we can start kind of, so essentially this is just like, synthesizing the data and trying to come up with small, succinct, sentences or whatnot.
Can I ask something in the meantime?
Please.
Do you guys think we serve Unlock Labs? I don't know who wrote
No,
this, but I feel this is wrong.
I don't know.
I mean, technically that would be the case, but
I really don't think so. I think they serve the DAO. So the DAO doesn't serve labs. I mean, that's just what I think, but I think
maybe more like we serve the protocol more than we serve Unlock Labs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely.
I see labs as like a symbiosis rather than a.
Because eventually it'll be a DAO and we'll be doing all the things, right?
Yep.
And then token holders, I put a question mark on that because I didn't know if we feel that way, or even if we do feel that way, do we need to be explicit about it?
No, I actually put it out there. I also thought I put a question mark, but maybe you did. Because I don't think we should serve them. I stand by what I said right from the beginning, right? When we had all of these discussions back in January. I think I said something along the lines that the UDT price going up is the result. It's not the goal.
Right.
It's the result of the goals that we achieve. So, yeah, I don't think we serve them. Sorry.
I think you should leave it there, though.
Yeah, I do so too.
Fine, then I put it somewhere here, like a little,
But that's a really interesting conversation to like stretch out, because I think that we're all on the same page. But if someone from the token holder camp would present their arguments and point of view, it would be interesting to really see what they think and how they feel.
Yeah. I think you're right. But we've invited many times and no one comes. So,
yeah.
We don't have to care like what they think necessarily.
To do
well,
this
they could be a customer, because we're talking about okay, no, that's for a different meeting. Yep. But in the context of like a customers, token holders are customers, because there could be people who just want to buy the token and hold for whatever reason. Maybe they just want to speculate, they want to buy and sell 5 years later. They are customers and they do provide some kind of value in some way.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. The statement I was trying to make about like we don't have to care is, so like everyone generally loves ice cream, right? Some people are lactose intolerant. As a business, I can decide that I'm not going to serve dairy-free options. Like that doesn't mean that those people don't like ice cream or don't want to be served, but that doesn't mean like I have to.
Yeah.
Or like maybe I only serve at my establishment like 18 people. These are like really bad straw man arguments, but like I'm just saying that as a group we could just decide who we are wanting to cater to and what we are wanting to do. So we don't, just because that exists out there doesn't mean we have to bring that into this.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, totally. But we haven't really excluded anyone yet, so it just feels.
yeah, I do think. Go ahead, Danny. Sorry.
Nah, I'm pretty much done. I just think we should just, put them in there. Just like, you said we should leave them. So
And put them down here,
yeah.
Danny. I understand what you're trying to say.
I personally, for other projects in blockchain, I absolutely care about that because financialization is the point. But for this,
yeah,
I almost want to specifically not include them, like
And
actively.
also, maybe it's also on us to switch perspective in the sense of, hey, you know what? All of us are actually token holders. So
Yeah.
while this, I think I said this last time, while this is not our primary identity, right, in this project, it is still part of our identity. So I think, you know what? Let's keep it here because we are token holders. We are too. Me too, man. Okay. But I think 2 camps is probably a good sword, isn't it? 2 camps. Oh, interesting.
Yep.
Something that isn't in here is like, it does say DAO members actually. Never mind. The one that you guys are working on now, what those we sort of achieve, I think is going to be a really hard one to
yeah.
Yep.
I'm finding that to be difficult.
So we might have to have kind of essentially 2 iterations of abstraction, if you will. And this could end up being more of a feeling thing rather than a specified result thing.
Can you guys hear the lawn maintenance going on next door?
Yes.
Okay.
No,
You can?
I'm just kidding you. This is Danny's background. This is not yours.
Oh,
That's
my
really
lawn
fun.
maintenance is really
Also,
loud. So.
Maintenance right now. Here.
I don't think I have a noise suppression on, but maybe,
I think Google does a pretty good job of filtering that out for some reason. Well, it's 10 after. I put a peeing in general. I don't know that we're gonna get it.
good job. They're all kind of tied there.
I think so far we have like kind of 3 camps going on here. Or 4?
Yep.
What do you guys have done there?
Creators and fans. I'm throwing in the town.
I wonder if the ones down here, if they should go into the right camp.
I mean, it's all kind of creators and fans, right? Or followers.
Sorry, just making some executive decisions right. Sorry, guys. Just pushed it up to the right. Okay. What do you think? I don't know what status check my wallet is.
I just saw that and I'm like, what is
So
this?
that
Pardon
was, I kind of summarized a thing. Essentially, the idea of like being able to know if somebody had done something or been somewhere, or what their current status is. So like, is your membership active? Check my wallet, or did you go to that one event? That sort of thing.
Hmm. Okay. Okay, Alex. We did our homework in 14 minutes.
Switching between Figma and Miro is difficult.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, just because there's, there's the zoom in, but like, yeah, it's
I definitely been there before. I used to use Sketch all the time.
oh yeah, that's a whole one.
The shops.
Figma started adding the AI stuff too, so now you can like do summaries of the stuff you have grouped together or in groups. Yeah, it's crazy.
Is it like external like purchase plugin, or is it just integrated?
That's a good question. I think it's integrated, but I only have the free version. I haven't tried the summary feature yet, so
Interesting.
I've been using another thing that does similar stuff, but a little different. They use Infranotice, which lets you do scan websites, and then it takes all the relevant words and puts them together in one big knowledge graph. I love nerdy shit like that.
So yeah, I think I need some help on these here.
Can I also ask something, Alex?
Yeah.
Would it be possible within this meeting to kind of classify a hierarchy of who we serve? Because it's like, let's say we would be serving all of them. That will be a lot.
Yeah. So I think the idea is to there's two versions, right? One is to say who we very, very specifically serve, and the other is to describe it as a category of people, the businesses.
Mm-hmm.
I think the latter probably makes more sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're intending to use that also for the onboarding section. So kind of categorizing, let's say, four groups that we want to serve, right? And essentially design a customized or tailored onboarding per group, essentially, right? If that makes sense. So this is
I
why
would,
I asked.
in that onboarding discussion, can you add another section or at least a piece that tells people that if they get a UDT up grant, that they have to delegate those tokens to themselves before they can actually vote?
Oh, do you?
Another lesson learned that I did not know, that was not passed down.
I didn't know that.
It's actually in the docs. This one is in the docs, but
I
yeah,
mean, yeah, docs.
I know, I know, I understand.
I'm just going to build a bot for the doc. I already have a bot for the docs. What am I talking about?
Allergic to
Forgot.
dogs.
Good point.
You're what? Allergic to dogs?
Yeah.
Oh my
As a
God. How do
solution.
you survive?
As
Yeah.
a solution.
Not for people. I mean, so here's the part that confused me was the fact that I had gotten them from a retro grant, and the retro grant let me vote. Like I got to vote with the retro grant on one of them, which was like 10 or something, right? Or retro active funding
Yeah.
or whatever we call it. But then I didn't think that once I got the other ones that I had to go and delegate those tokens to myself because the ones that I had already gotten weren't.
Yeah, so that happens because of the mechanism. So with Tally, which is like an off-chain voting mechanism, all you need to do is have a UDT in your wallet. But for sorry, I meant Snapshot. So with
Right.
Snapshot, which is but Tally is an on-chain voting system. So it works with the governor system that basically all DAOs use, and you need to actually delegate the token to someone or yourself before you can actually vote. And then it also checks the timestamp when you did that, if it was before the proposal, and all and on and on. And so if you're not aware, you'd be like, oh, I voted on Snapshot. Why can't I do it here? And it's just confusing, but that's
It
just
is.
because of the way it works. Same with every other DAO, you would need to like delegate the vote to.
I knew of delegating tokens, but I just didn't. Yeah, because I had already used the other ones on probably Snapshot, and my brain got
Snapshot.
confused.
Yeah, it makes that makes sense. And I think we should probably make that explicit somewhere, because I'm sure you might not be the only one that's confused, and most people may not be voting on Tally, not just because of the gas costs, but probably because they don't even know how to do the delegation thing. And so they just can't.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's why I said it probably needs to be in the onboarding, or at least for those who receive a grant, that's to be something that they should know, like within the first few steps.
Yeah.
Also, could be part of the surfing on entropy side quest at some point.
Yeah, that's actually a great idea.
Duly noted.
Hi, Daddy. Hi, too, my brother. So when did you plan on telling me about your engagement? Oh, God. I can see you heard about it, right?
I'm just saying stuff. I don't know if this is what we.
I saw people moving around down here. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, I just hopped in on the action. I saw things happening, and I just grabbed myself a text box.
I like how that works, actually. I said I like how that works. Where I just start doing something, and then other people were like, "Oh wait." Yeah, I don't vote because of the gas. I literally can't afford it.
Yeah, that's a big problem. The gas. Like what the hell? I mean,
Man,
these days since the what's the EIP, the blob thing, it's helped a lot. So we get a lot of dollar, $2 type gas fees, but those days of like $20, 15, $40, man, it's ridiculous.
I usually wait till nighttime. I couldn't believe the gas fee was like $1 yesterday or something. I
Yeah.
was like, what?
Wait, really?
That's crazy.
Oh yeah.
I know I paid like $7 to even
I
execute
I
mine.
I was lucky. I voted on all tally proposals at the same time, and it cost me like $3. And I was like, finally,
What?
it was cheap.
I mean, I would consider
Yeah.
voting for that price.
Yeah,
Well,
Oh, yeah,
eventually it's
that-
going to be lower than that.
Well, you got to find the time in your time zone. Because for me, I now know when the time is. So basically, I get to wake up really early by like 5 a.m. That's the cheapest.
Yeah.
So whenever I want to do something, I just wake up by 5 a.m. and I get like $1, sometimes less. But if it's about tally, well, if I get a 1.5, that's a good deal, and I take it.
same.
Man,
What a pain in the ass that is just to wake up to vote, though. I mean,
I don't know.
This is
There's
true
thank God we're
commitment.
moving
Are
to
you making
base and we
fun
won't
of
have that
us
big of a
here?
problem. Huh?
I'm saying this is true commitment. Are you making fun of us because I do the same shit?
No,
Okay?
I mean, I get it. I've woke up and done trades before. I understand, but it's just like, man, glad we're moving to base finally, so we'll have to do that maybe.
Oh, 100%.
Now, the way I put this, I'm also thinking already in my head about the business plan stuff that we've been putting together
Yep.
to make that work. And
I mean, they go together.
huh?
They go together.
They go together exactly. So kind of cross-checking.
So the middle one's better than the top one for sure.
Okay.
Why are we pulling out educators? I'm not saying we shouldn't. I just want to know,
No,
like, why.
I was considering to do that. So you're on.
Oh, okay. But then
Why
also,
not
what's
educators?
between communities and organizations?
Yeah.
Oh,
Again, I'm not saying it's wrong. I am just like sparking, conversation.
No, what did you say? Sorry, can you try again?
What's the difference between communities and organizations?
Oh, well, to me, communities are like, groups of people, not necessarily a business. They just like have something in common, like maybe they believe in something or whatever. And the organization is more or less formal. They have like a sort of registered some at a jurisdiction,
hierarchy of
legal,
some sort.
yes, yeah, just something like that.
What this guy is
Community,
saying.
yeah, community. Well, you just wake up one morning with your friends, and you guys agree that we are this community, and that's it.
You were playing
Community.
some rare game on Fridays that nobody else plays, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, the idea of the singular doesn't exist here aside from DAO members, because the word member means singular, right? Even though members is plural. Which means it's not necessarily saying we help individual, like solo entrepreneurs here, within this language, I think. I don't know that we need to incorporate that or muddy this language.
I think it doesn't need to be our priority because we will anyway keep doing that. You know what I mean? Like in the Discord, for example, right? Like I have seen also others to reply more easily to fellow creators, let's just say, and like help them get a jump start on stuff, right? Than actually like, maybe bigger projects that come in, right? This is usually like a labs exclusive, right? So kind of want to take away that business. Um, no, but I understand your problem maybe also with the formulation. The fellow DAO members, I just think it's important because we should, like, for example, in the first live stream series, Lana will be spotlighted, right? For
Yeah.
the current grand round she's running, right? And all of this. Then, I think next should be probably Danny, then Alex, then Dale. So, point is that I think to be seen as a community, as a DAO, you also need to shine a spotlight on DAO members. I think this happens way too less in the space, right?
I agree. Actually, I was kind of suggesting maybe the opposite. So the full quote unquote argument is that I was trying to bring up without forcing it is essentially the idea that we talk a lot about this technology being easy for self-starters or individuals. So there's been a lot of talk of like, if you're a band or an artist, or if you like have a yoga studio, or if you have like a membership thing that you singular trying to put out in the world.
Yes.
And using organizations maybe doesn't feel like that solo entrepreneur singular thing. I don't know that it has to. I'm just making that point. So like, I like the middle one and how simple it is and easy to read. The one below it, though, that talks about developers, creators, is more specific and allows that feeling of individual. Again,
I was gonna ask,
that's better or worse, just speaking about language.
I was gonna ask why creators wasn't in there for a similar reason. Like, specifically after you mentioned that, it's like, if we're appealing to that community, how do they fall into the middle one? Like, where does, because even though you are a creator, you when you first start off, you don't have the community, so you're building a community as a solo creator. Or
I think community is important though, because we want.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, community is important. Creators is also important because it speaks to that niche you talked about, solo creators and individuals that are not businesses or organizations yet, just like maybe starting out, or you're just an artist doing your thing or whatnot. That's a big bucket for you guys, creators. If you're an article writer, a podcaster, whatever, you could just be put in the creator bucket and it fits nicely.
How's this work? Why can't?
You can Command C.
Okay.
Yeah. So then my final, like, I think is I like the idea of having communities, organizations, or businesses, right? DAO members, and then creators, probably developers.
Definitely developers.
But do we serve them, Danny?
What?
Do we truly serve them? If you think about what we've been talking in
that is a
Canva,
really good question. Yeah.
Right? Do we truly serve them? I think
I think so.
Self-serve to a certain degree because we have documentation, right? There is Discord support for developer questions. The question is, does the DAO specifically need to serve developers?
I mean, if you think about the purpose of the DAO is the DAO governs the protocol, and developers use the protocol. It's kind of like the nation state. The nation state serves everyone that is concerned with the nation state in any way. And so if the DAO governs the protocol which affects developers, then they also serve devs, because if I'm building with the protocol and the DAO wants to make this unreasonable change that is going to destroy my application because it's just really bad for whatever reason, it's it affects me. So I mean, you serve me because the decisions you make affect me.
So a counterpoint to that is, does developer exist in any of these without also being in any of these groups? So there's two reasons to pull developer out. Is one is like we want to make sure to highlight and show developer, but the other question is it necessary? Because can you be a developer and not be a DAO member, not be an organization, not be a community?
Well, technically, some developers aren't really interested in any of, they just want to write code in their basement. And so you can be a dev and not want to identify as any of these things. You just identify as a developer, and people in these categories would hire you to do your thing, to come write code for them to build out their organizations, communities, and whatnot. So it's a specific group of people that you might want to say you're referring to.
I don't know if I want this one. What just happened? Oh, stupid. Why is it I get extension update notifications now all the time? That's stupid.
Probably opted in somewhere.
Yeah.
Should we move on from here, or you want to clarify before we move on, or reduce?
I think I don't think that having the descriptor for individuals and organizations is necessary.
No, I'm just putting it for clarification, because in the end, we want to serve individuals and organizations. But I think you're right. We need to focus on this one group where we truly want to serve, right?
So
there's others we do also serve.
So to answer your question, I think that if we can pick which one of these feels best, or two of them that feels best, we can move on to finish the next section. Because as we try to put this all together in a singular statement, I think we will start reducing, because we'll see how long it actually looks presently.
Oh yeah.
True.
So personally, I think the second one is hitting it pretty good.
This one?
And the third one actually as well. For different reasons. And then the fourth one is already starting to summarize and put things together, so I like that too.
I was trying to narrow it down closer and closer.
Should we get rid of this one for now?
I am in agreement with that.
Narrowing down.
Mm-hmm.
So for this one, I think I just threw something down. I don't feel necessarily one way or the other about it. I also don't think that I've incorporated everything that exists. So what is the next one?
It's really problematic for me that it has a grid background, It always makes you want to try and align it with the grid.
You can turn off the grid, I think, so the OCD doesn't kick in.
It's hard.
No.
That is so
I've done
weird.
the same thing in Figma, by the way.
It seemed like I wasn't even seeing that. It just didn't exist till you mentioned it. Now I can get it.
Now it's problematic, isn't it?
Yeah. How could you do this to me, Stella?
Stella, it's so funny. I do that in Figma all the time. And I finally turned off the grid because I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this.
Did this help?
Yes,
I
it
could have been a
is.
designer in my former life, but I just obsessed too much.
You know, there is this 3D texturing software. It's called Substance Designer, and it's little note
Yeah.
boxes on a grid, right? And so right now I'm teaching someone Substance Designer, and this person just ignores the grid. I spent like 15 minutes reorganizing the whole system.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
can't. I'm sorry. It's so crazy.
There's people that just,
They
run
can't.
through life without any
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah, you know what I'll do though? Like the alignment, like,
Yeah.
I can't stand that. So if I look at it and it's not aligned like vertically
Oh
or
yeah.
something, now that's a problem for me. But the grid, I don't care. I just like
No,
it
all,
fades into the background.
Danny, all of these things make me sweat, and I usually don't
Ooh.
sweat. So it's
Her
big time
fingernails are
problem.
sweating with talking about it.
Man, do I have a couple really awesome games to share with you. One has a website that's just about giving kerning puzzles. And the other
What?
is about, like designing things using like masks and things. I need to figure out where they are again.
Send kerning game. What the hell? I didn't know that existed. But that's exciting. I wonder how well I would do on that.
All right, I'm gonna try and find it while you guys are finishing the summary thing. But yeah, don't go to that though until
After the meeting.
after, because you'll get
Wait,
stuck.
I'm already on it. Oh no, I know exactly.
That's what I said. Don't go to it. You're gonna. Yeah. So.
Almost. Okay, we'll focus again. I'm so sorry.
So something we can consider here is, do we have a somewhat one-to-one relationship between what we're enabling them to do and who it is that we're serving? Would be a good check. Like if these statements miss somebody we serve, then we're not doing a good job. If we have two of the things that we allow them to do serving an individual, then that's fine. Like,
I think we do, or am I misjudging this? So when I think about modular Web3 technologies, right, and integrating them, I think about developers, I think about creators and builders, right, and founders. When I think about direct connection to customers and fans, same thing, founders and creators, maybe mostly, self-empowerment, the same. The only one that might be missing, but only might, right, is DAO members,
I was thinking the exact same thing.
right? So maybe DAO members, maybe we shouldn't be self-serving.
So I think something that could incorporate DAO members specifically is like, don't write this like me speaking out loud, extremely cautious, but we help enable like community engagement and the ability to participate in community, systems and action. We provide a place of connection and learning. Provide a connection for DAO members to outside communities.
Can we just say and highlight achievements? Because technically, most DAO members, I want to say, they're using the protocol, right? Thinking about all of us, we're utilizing the protocol in one or the other way. So
I'm so sorry.
I think it's not contradictory. The question then remains though, do DAO members need to be listed, or do DAO members eventually fall into the categories of creators, developers, builders, and founders? They don't need to be mentioned. That's, I guess, the point.
Are you sure?
I think they usually do, yeah.
They usually do get mentioned or usually don't need to be.
I think all those encompass one or the other, you know.
I think that makes sense too. So which is cool, which means we get to remove some things.
Reduction.
And I think that concept is inherent, right? Because we're making a mission for the DAO. We're not making a mission for like the DAO stewards or leadership or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so I got rid of the fellow DAO members in my little sentence.
Yeah. I like that middle one a lot. I typically think it's not the best to have like a / thing in there if somebody wants to figure out how to like, manipulate that language.
Yeah, we could just take either or. We could take developers or builders. That's the one you're talking about. You're still talking about the.
No, I was talking about the middle one that Stella is changing right now.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Customers or fans, yeah.
Can we talk about how two-factor authentication sucks? So bad.
Okay, so keep that feeling and thought, and I think potentially we could move that into the vision stuff. So like in the future, we envision removing 2FA with unlock or something.
I mean,
unless you just want to think about it right now specifically, like if you're having a moment.
What is going on with? Never mind. Sorry, I'm talking out loud to myself. You guys probably don't need to hear this. ChatGPT is being weird.
Wait, what are you doing with ChatGPT?
I was going to do a reduction with it just to see what happened. It's telling me I sign in with my thing, and it's telling me that I need two-factor.
You have to stop him. He's going rogue.
And it's asking for two-factor authentication.
Your account is protected with multi-factor authentication. Please log in with username and password to. Oh, did I not? Oh, I didn't use. Okay, I got you. Never mind. It's me. It's not them. I didn't think I had a password for this. I thought I used Google.
I don't want to
But
say
I didn't
open
know.
doors, but
Oh, it's not you. It's not you. It's me.
Oh my gosh. My
meanwhile,
keyboard today.
Danny is hacking himself into Dale's computer system. Oh God. Okay, Alex, please take control of the meeting again, because otherwise this is gonna go rogue very bad, very fast.
Okay, so now what we need to do is kind of put this all together.
Wait, there is no easy way of doing this. We have to manually shift thingy.
Who wants to use ChatGPT now? Huh?
I mean, the easy way of doing this is making me go and do this by myself. Please don't do that.
But we like the easy way.
Like, there's multiple things that we can do. We could collectively right now just like create this together.
Mm-hmm.
We can separately create 4 different versions and have the DAO like vote on them, which one feels best to them. I could take all of this stuff and whittle it down and provide like a few versions. It really depends on how you guys feel.
That's a very interesting proposition right there.
I think, yeah, like not because I'm lazy, but I do think you should synthesize.
Yeah, you've done a very good job synthesizing so far.
Yeah, exactly. One person should synthesize, and in this case, I think it should be you.
Okay, I feel like, okay, so then 2 options. One, I do it right now and we talk through it.
Yes.
Another is I do it async and we can move on to working on this stuff.
What stuff?
Which is we've got some milestones and we got some how do we meet those milestones. and we can start creating this sort of adventure action plan to start doing things. And some of these things are already being done, but
That sounds good.
Okay, yeah, no, sounds good. You're right. Okay, async it is, I guess.
okay, looks like I have something to do later tonight. Tomorrow.
No Kern for you.
Yeah, no
No,
burning game for
I've
you.
literally done all of them. That is looped back to the meeting, so that's fine. Actually, in one of my design teams I was on, we did that as like a beginning of the meeting, sort of like it's Monday, wake up thing. So we would literally like watch each other do it, high pressure situation, you know? Yeah. So, okay, so just real quick then, I will do it asynchronously. I should put it probably in the vision and mission thing, but also maybe in the DAO general. Do they do polls on Discord that we can use?
Actually, I wanted to suggest something to you. You have a DAO forum about the vision and mission, right?
I do, yeah.
Can you rename that by going all the way up and call it WG, then this sign, right? And say something like marketing and communications. So this channel will automatically transform into our official working group channel for marketing and communications. Would that be okay for you?
Okay,
Yeah? Okay,
I'm
cool.
gonna do it right now before I forget that.
Yeah.
You know what my favorite thing about the straight slash is? That it totally means something completely different in programming. Like
100%.
I use it. I mean, it's the name of my company, but I know what it means in programming. But it's just a good divider between
It's
words.
fantastic, especially for OCD people. It's great.
Yeah.
You said marketing
And communications. Wait, I will check if you're doing this right. Yes, you're doing this right. Thank you. Oh wait, can you make an end sign? Marketing end sign communication, so we see more about communications on the side panel.
Like ampersand?
Ampersand.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome. Transformation successfully done.
Cool. Also, that line means modular, right? In programming?
I think it's an operator that means or.
Depends on the programming language, you know.
Oh, is it? Oh,
And,
gotcha.
yeah, the pipe. You're talking about the pipe symbol, right? The straight
Yeah.
or the forward slash. The pipe.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
I think double means or.
If it's double, then it's or. And,
Oh, right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, cool. Oh, Stella's already doing it. Okay, so before you go any further,
You're doing it wrong.
no, you're doing it right. But what I was going to say is we have three different things we need to do in this. 4 different things. We need to decide, firstly, do these things belong in near term, i.e. 1 to 3 months from now, or do we need to push them to short term, which is 3 to 6 months? The other is to say whether it's more or less important that we like focus on it. And that's kind of a group. So they're one thing, but we'll have to decide like amongst us playing tug of war where that exists. And then the other is to do some semblance of timeline. So like closer to the left means like more near term, I guess. So like in the next week, 2 weeks or whatever, and then like the end of it would be at the 3-month mark. But that's just like a loose sort of visual aid, I guess. That makes sense.
Absolutely.
Okay, so then I guess, can we all agree that these things need to exist in the near term? Or if anything needs to be pushed further out?
Are these two things not the same?
Some of them might be the same with like small differences. And they can be changed. Again, this is just like synthesized and boiled down from what you guys have said. It doesn't mean that we that everyone's in agreement with what is specifically on these sticky notes.
Eso se muy celular. Entonces, no hay la cosa de yo la estaba
So about the formalized entity legal structure, right? I think we have kind of talked about this during the meeting. Essentially, after, and this is something we don't have to do, which is great cost-wise and everything else-wise, is if they are setting up the foundation and the foundation makes us, you know, operational in the real world, then formalizing an entity. Like, I have no desire to do that, to be honest. The only thing that's really important for American citizens is that you form an entity around yourself, which you would need to do either way, right?
So essentially creating an LLC and then paying yourself from the LLC.
Yeah. So that whatever might go wrong or could go wrong, it doesn't hit you as a person, but it hits your entity. And the entity is reliable, not you, right? So for me, formalized entity legal is like somewhere here, right? It's like it's almost falling off the grid.
Well, not all of these things have to be in here. Right?
Yeah,
Like,
because
I
I'm thinking
so-
hackathon should be in here or maybe even further out.
I
So
agree.
hackathon happens automatically all the time.
Yeah,
So
I mean, that's
Like
what
this-
we get grants applied for all the time.
Right. So then this
It's the
is
first thing.
one of those things where I put a question mark on there as well, and added the how, what, where, et cetera. Because like, does hackathon mean that we have an unlocked hackathon that we're throwing? Does it mean that
Yeah.
all the hackathons that exist
Sponsoring.
where we are like putting a bounty or whatever in that hackathon? You know,
usually DAOs don't organize hackathons. They basically participate. So if there's an Eat Global event, you can basically be a sponsor. There are like different conferences. You could just be a sponsor, and there's like a hackathon, and different teams are going to build on your protocol. That's how it's usually done. So the DAO isn't really going to organize a hackathon in any way.
so 2 comments. I agree 100%. Other comment, personally, I don't care what other people typically do personally, because that doesn't have to be us. That's just, and that's not like a.
Yeah, but
at all.
okay, I
I'm
guess
just letting you know that where I'm coming from.
yeah, but what would the goal? What would the goal of that be really? Like a
I can see
hackathon?
that being something more that labs would want to do, honestly.
Yeah,
Just to be
And-
like, there aren't enough people utilizing this, and we have some amount of grant fund that came in, and we want to give people. I mean, honestly, I could see us doing a hackathon to be.
actually, labs are already doing hackathons in many different events. They have it in almost all of the Eat Global Hackathon, which is a lot in a year. And there's the ECC and all of these different hackathons. Labs usually like sponsor hackathons for different projects and teams to build with the protocol. So
Maybe hackathon is too descriptive of what it is. So what I was thinking is there's some pieces in here that suggest this idea of either us internally experimenting on projects.
yeah, maybe bounties or something like
Yeah, or like
projects, literally projects.
yeah, or like getting a group of people to say like, hey, we like when credit card payments first existed, like we are going to have a certain amount of grant funds available for the like top 3 projects in that area. Like I could totally see us doing something like that. Doesn't mean we will, doesn't mean we have to. Just think that this idea of hackathon could be more expansive than just the go to a
The
place.
typical,
and build
the
something.
typical hackathon. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. True.
So can we also focus on one singular section? Unless you're moving things from the near term to the short term.
Okay, boss. Sorry, I just made it more organized.
So I
Oh, pretty much close.
that establish. Did any of you write this idea of a formal feedback mechanism or process?
No, but it sounds really good to me. So
I might have, but I don't remember.
Okay, so let me. I'm gonna find it and like read it to you guys because it was kind of interesting.
yeah, sounds interesting right off the bat.
Okay, so there's actually a couple of different people talk about this idea of feedback. So one of them said, they put it in groups. So the first one was, so initial feedback review, and community engagement. So implement a structured feedback system to actively gather input from the community regarding the protocol's current functionality and areas for improvement. Then it says initial feedback review, conduct the first review of collected feedback and proposals, identifying key areas of interest and potential improvements. So essentially, look at these groups. Let's see, significant protocol updates, feedback from early users and community members that identify areas of improvement. So essentially, a few people have suggested that we need to do intake and kind of a pulse on the community to say like, hey, what's working, what's not working. This is kind of maybe a little weird right now because Labs is doing most of that work. It seems. So I don't know that I would put this in the near term, but maybe develop for the short term or create it and then implement it short term. But I think that's something that Dow can do as well. And I think it's a good idea to do these sort of like retrospectives. So I haven't talked about it, but I would like to do one for this to say like, hey, how did this work? What do we want to continue doing? What do we want to start doing? What do we want to stop doing? Or something that's very easily structured with that.
Right.
So anyways, formal feedback mechanisms.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with it. It sounds like maybe something I might have come up with. I don't know specifically if it was me, but I think that there's always that retroactively looking back and looking forward to where we want to be, where we are now kind of thing. And how do we get that pulse? If some of the members aren't participating on a level where we can get the pulse of everyone. So we have to go with what does that look like if when we're using token holders. I'm not trying to beat them up. I'm just saying like if they're not participating, how do we get that feedback from them so they do have some sort of voice, obviously through David, but what does that look like otherwise? If it's another group of people too, like it could be anyone really, Not everybody's able to be here all the time and contribute.
That's true. I mean, we do other like scraping things and stuff. That's what we want to do. One thing that I didn't explain about this is this is like milestones or what success looks like. So it's like what things do we implement or how can we know that we are being successful? So it would be like there is a formal feedback mechanism or process that exists. There are already established working groups. And the next portion is like, how do we do that? And so there's a one-to-one relationship.
Yeah. I mean, arguably,
milestones.
I feel like I'm a proponent, but I'm the guy that's going to say, hey, maybe AI could solve this sort of feedback thing and be able to take the information in.
Yeah, the bottom ones are basically going to go on this rate of high impact, high effort, or low impact, low effort, etc. But that doesn't mean they can't be duplicated. So like a milestone for the thing that you just grabbed, Stella, election for lead steward, it would just be like, we've held an election.
Oh, okay. I think.
Does that make sense?
Not yet, but I hope it will.
Okay, so yeah, so the stuff at the underneath this doesn't need to come up here.
Okay, that I understood. The most important part I understood. Okay.
So I really think that
this is almost like my priority list
Yeah.
for us. So it's funny.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of borrowing for sure. Okay, so personally, I think that this feedback mechanism should be more of a short-term thing. What do you guys think?
Sure.
Sorry, it should be more what?
It should
Short
exist in the short term, in the 3 to 6 months, rather than the 1 to 3 months.
Question.
It's something to think about
Okay.
now and something to
Okay,
achieve.
so
in the future.
I'm trying to still wrap my head around that because basically, I guess what do we mean here? Establishing the mechanisms or just getting the feedback, like the mechanism to get the feedback? Because that's what I thought it was like. Having it in the near term means we're trying to establish the goal of establishing the mechanisms to get the feedback, and in the short term means the actual feedback. So I would like to know like what the actual.
So
Sure, so and we can add more or less things, but I'm seeing this as in we have built a feedback mechanism and a process around it.
We have, or we will.
So the milestones are things that like exist once they're done, essentially. So that's why I'm using the language of we have. So like we are successful and hit this milestone if we have created a formal feedback mechanism process.
Okay. So basically, it should be further out because we will be doing it.
That, and I think that there are more important things to happen before that.
Yes.
And or there's a capacity thing that exists here, which is why the grid at the bottom exists, is because we need to also say like how much effort or impact it is, because there's only so many of us and we're not really all getting paid really at all. So those are real things to take into consideration.
So we're going to do t-shirt sizes or story points?
I never have said that I do agile.
I'm just kidding. There's a great TikTok guy that makes some great ones on agile. It's like brilliant, actually.
So can we, this idea of roadmap for the year, I don't know who pulled it out of there. Do you want to speak to that?
Yes, I can. Maybe.
Go ahead.
So I feel like roadmap to the year of the year would be good if we were starting this in 6 months from now. Right?
Yeah. Okay. So
because can I explain? Because we have so many foundational work right now to do that it's really hard. Remember when I pulled out the budget plan sheet like in January out of the hat, and everyone was just overwhelmed because we didn't have any structure whatsoever. So
Yeah.
I feel if we try and put a roadmap together right now, it's going to be the same thing, right? Everyone just running around like little headless chickens and being like, how the fuck should we do this? Bye. So this is why I pulled it out of there. I'm sorry.
So then I would use that same energy and idea for what's happening here, because essentially this is building a roadmap. But the original statement was roadmap through the end of the year. And I just made it more generic to say roadmap for the year.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to be in there, though. If you don't think it's important, or I would say if you don't think it's viable, maybe just put it as less important rather than remove it.
Yep. I'm putting it back in line. Okay.
Okay, so does everyone feel good about the structure layout and what's included in the stuff?
I think this is a result of this stuff, so I would put it up here, but it comes definitely later on this timeline. Maybe
Having a sustainable organ structure seems very difficult to me to do within the next 1 to 3 months.
wait, what? No, we're already working on this, the sustainable organizational structure.
Right, but this is a milestone, like will be done in the next 1 to 3 months.
Oh, this is why you would want to put it at the end. I'm looking at this more from the perspective of prioritization, right? So if I were to use this as a plan on how to prioritize shit, it would be in the beginning of it, right? Because we need this in order for us to achieve many other things.
Yeah, that was how I was thinking about the whole feedback thing. But when he explained that it's a milestone, basically it means that it should have been done. Like,
but-
okay.
But Danny, the feedback thing is different. You can only get feedbacks, right, after you've actually done something. But the organizational structure needs to be designed at the beginning for us in order to actually, self-structure, right, and accomplish stuff. So I would want to put this at the beginning. I'm sorry. I'm going to be a hard ass on this one. Try and beat me.
You can also think about it in phases too, right? So phase 1 for near term is that we have a sustainable organizational structure. And then short term is like that organizational structure is filled in. Like positions are in place. If that makes sense.
We can also do this. I'm totally fine with doing something like this, where this is grouped, and then something like this. And we can just keep this out of there, because this is like, it's a self-repetition in a sense. So we have the lead steward, right? The lead steward started to work on essentially recruiting our core team other stewards, right? And then plus the token listing officer. And out of this, we're going to establish working groups. So it's like 1, 2, 3.
I still think it should be in there.
Huh?
I still think this should be in here.
Okay, fine, then put it in here again. Wanted to thin it out for you, man, but it's fine. Okay.
Marketing content, funnel and channels. Does that feel like it's something that can be established within the next 3 months?
I think so.
Yeah, I think because many of these things are already on the way, right?
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, that's just good.
this, this, and this, and
what is the onboarding version 1?
It's essentially an onboarding that I'm working on with Joy. She was one of the applicants to the live stream position. Remember the one that only made this AI video? I mean, it wasn't bad, but it didn't show a face, right? And but she was so excited, and she was like, I really want to help with stuff, right? And I was like, great. How about you and I tackle onboarding, at least the first version of it? Because I think there will be iterations. This is why I'm calling it the minimum viable product of onboarding, right? Because I'm pretty sure after we figured out several more things, this will, we will make it better, we will make it more engaging, right? All of these things. But we need something in place in order for people to orient. So
sure. Yeah. Is it onboarding of new members then? Is that the idea?
Mm-hmm.
Can we just add that in there?
Like so?
Yes.
Okay.
Anybody that sees this, they know what that means.
Okay.
Versus like onboarding developers or like onboarding clients or whatever.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah, you're right.
So we have choose your own adventure, friends. We can do one of two things. It depends on what makes sense for your brains. One is to continue doing this for the next 3 to 6 months. Or the other is to do the how to do it portion. Line it on the grid to see if we are hitting the things that are existing in the near term by doing those.
Can we stay on the timeline?
Personally, is the timeline for me. That's how my brain works. But it makes doing that orientation a little more difficult in the future.
What do you guys think, Danny, Dale?
Uh,
Can we stay on the timeline, or you want to go down there?
Yeah, I think we should stick on the timeline. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Also, it has been a little over an hour since we've been
Yeah.
together. Does anybody need a short break?
I do. Definitely do.
Awesome. Let's take like 7 minutes or so. Is that enough? 5?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna get a new water from downstairs. It's a long way. All right.
Sounds good. I will also do the same, and I'll see you guys shortly.
Okay.
All
All
right.
Bye.